Hey guys, it's Friday the 13th here, and today I'm going to tell you about my top 10 games I am most interested in. And I know there are not any top 25 matchups going on, but that doesn't mean that there aren't any good and interesting games that are going to be this week. And starting in at number 10, my 10th most interesting game is 2-0 Arizona State versus number 18 ranked Michigan State 2-0. Herm Edwards and versus Mark D'Antonio, and Michigan State is 14.5-point favorites. Michigan State's defense is very for real. Last year, they only gave up like 18 points per game. They were really good. The problem was their offense. I still see that as a struggle, but against Arizona State, who hasn't not shown any offense the first 2 weeks, I got Michigan State winning and with the spread 24-7. The ninth game I'm most interested in is an in-state game. It is Air Force Academy 1-0 versus Colorado 2-0. Colorado is 3.5-point favorites, and I like the triple option for Air Force, and I think they'll be able to score. I've not been impressed with Colorado's defense, even though it will be fixed with Coach Tucker. I just believe, Steven Montez, fifth-year senior, and Mel Tucker, just for some reason, the way they found a way against Nebraska, I like them winning at home. Covering the spread, 3.5, 28-21. The eighth game I'm most interested in is, you can see there's a little bit of a Pac-12 theme. I think this is their week. This is probably one of the reasons why it's not the most exciting week. But Wazoo is actually tonight. 9-point favorites, number 20 Wazoo versus Houston. Mike Leach, any game, any press conference with him is interesting versus first-year Dana Holgorsen from West Virginia. It's at Houston, so I do believe it'll be close. I do believe Houston will be able to cover. Keep it within 9 points. I got Wazoo, 35-31. My seventh game I'm most interested in, and I know that is Florida State 1-1 versus 25 ranked Virginia. I know, and they're 7.5-point favorites. I know Florida State's not a very good football team, but I'm interested in Bryce Perkins in Virginia, and hopefully they had 8 wins last year, and I think they can get 9 to 10 wins this year. And this is a big game. They're 7.5-point favorites, and I think they're going to cover that, and they're going to win 37-20. The number 6 game this week is K-State 2-0 without Bill Snyder for the first time in a pretty long time, and versus Mississippi State led by Tommy Stevens, quarterback, and they're 7-point favorites, and I think they're going to win 34-27. I'm not very impressed with Mississippi State's defense so far against the Raging Cajuns in Southern Miss, but I like their offense, and I think they'll get the win. Number 5 is the game I'm most interested in is Stanford versus UCF. Now, Stanford and UCF, I'm always loving the group of 5 great teams versus the Power 5 great teams, but Stanford has taken a turn for the worse the last year or two, and I'm not as interested in as I was, especially with the loss that they had, 45-20. I'm not as interested as I used to be. They're getting KJ Costello back, which is good for Stanford, and UCF is getting Brandon Wimbush back, which is good for UCF, but I got UCF winning 31-20. The number 4th game I'm most interested in is unranked 1-0 TCU versus Purdue 1-1. TCU's 2-point favorites, but the only reason I think they're 2-point favorites is because the bad loss that Purdue had against Nevada, I think that was more of a fluke. They just, decided not to play in the fourth quarter. I really like their quarterback in Sindelar, and I really like Rondell Moore. Probably one of the most electrifying receivers in the game, and I got them winning in a squeaker, 28-27 at home. The number 3 game I'm most interested in is 2-0 Florida, number 9 ranked, 8.5-point favorites over Kentucky, and I know Kentucky had that streak ended 31 years in a row where they lost. No one beats Kentucky 32 years in a row. They finally got the win, but they just had a big blow in losing their quarterback out for the year, Terry Wilson. And I just haven't been all that impressed with Kentucky the first 2 weeks. And I got Florida beating Kentucky 34-20. The number 2 game I'm most interested in, and I was not interested in all before last week, number 24 ranked USC, who Keanon Slovis came out of nowhere and shows the world what he's all about, and whoops up Stanford 45-20. And then BYU, who upset win against Tennessee on the road with quarterback Zach Wilson, sophomore. I love him. But I think USC will come out with the squeaker, 30-27. And then the game that I'm most interested in is the Cyclone War. And Iowa has had their number the past 4 years. Iowa's coming in as a 1.5-point favorites. And they have their veteran quarterback, and Nate Stanley, who I really like. But they lost their 2 top tight ends in the first round to the NFL draft. I'm not really 100% sure about Iowa. And quarterback Brock Purdy for Iowa State, who I really like. I know the reason why Iowa's favored is because of the way Iowa State played week 1. But it's in Ames, Iowa, their first college game day, and anything happens. There's going to be something crazy happen in Ames. Always something crazy happens in Ames. And I see them winning 34-31 on a game-winning field goal. I believe something will crazy. It's going to be an awesome game in the Cyclone War, and they're going to end the streak. So those are my top 10 games I'm most interested in. I know my Dogs against Arkansas State. The game's not going to be interesting, but I believe the pink out, and I want every Dog fan who's going to that game wear pink, and I think that's going to be interesting for the Arkansas State head coach who lost his wife about a month ago. It's just a sad and tragic loss. But and I know Georgia Dog Nation will be in support with them, and prayers go out to the Arkansas State football family, the Red Wolves. But I believe the Dogs will win 48-14, and that's all I have to say. And woo, go!